we are. We're on.
Okay. As it is now 10 a.m., I will call to order the Budget Commission today's special meeting, right? Special meeting of the Budget Commission being Monday, June 1st, 2026. The first agenda item is the prior meeting minutes approval from May 18th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? I'll make the motion.
Second, yes.
Second. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. You say aye?
No. So, yes.
Oh, I emphasize the secretary. Thank you.
Let's put something in here over the weekend.
Yeah, a large one. All right, agenda item number 2 is the Geauga County Department of Health 2027 budget hearing.
So we are in receipt of the letter from Chardon that health department had forwarded over for the fiscal year 2027 supplemental funding. So that would need a motion to be accepted, if accepted.
So moved.
Second.
No. Excuse me. I'll second.
Yeah, sorry.
Aye. Yes.
Aye. I'm just calling for a second.
Okay,
All right.
it's accepted.
Right, and then before we, do you want me to read everything for the budget hearing as far as the budget hearing?
You know, since they have 87 different funds, I would be okay with you not reading through it. What about you?
I think in an effort to be transparent, we keep that fully in the record.
General fund, beginning cash balance, $219,525.99. Requested revenue, $1,047,584. Revenue to be considered, $1,049,761. Requested expense or estimated expense, $956,750.27. Ending cash balance estimated $312,536.72. Next one is the trailer fund park 6004, beginning cash balance $8,598.44. Requested revenue of $4,000 to be also considered. The estimated expense $3,100 and ending cash balance $9,498.44. The 6005 food service fund, beginning cash balance $555,021.19. Requested revenue $268,700, also same to be considered. Estimated expense $258,606.90. Ending estimated cash $565,414.29. 6008 infectious waste, beginning cash balance $63,807.06. Requested revenue $15,000, revenue same as to be for revenue considered. Estimated expense $15,000, ending cash balance $63,807.06. Private water systems fund 6011, beginning cash balance $159,249.54. Requested revenue to be considered $92,000. Estimated expense $83,500. Ending cash $167,749.54. Fund 6018 swimming pool, beginning cash balance $16,049. Requested revenue to be considered $11,250. Estimated expense $2,880. Ending cash $24,419. Fund 6021 public health infrastructure $640,115.77. Requested revenue to be considered $160,000. Estimated expenses of $153,000. Ending cash $647,115.77. Fund 6023 sewage treatment, beginning cash $548,579.70. Requested revenue to be considered $409,300. Estimated expense $391,606.90. Ending cash $566,272.80. Fund number 6025, immunization action plan, beginning cash balance 18 cents. No revenue or expenses to be considered, ending cash 18 cents. Fund 6030, emergency response fund, beginning cash is 3 cents. Nothing was requested as far as revenue or expenses. Remaining estimated ending cash 3 cents. Fund 6036, environmental health assistance, beginning cash $30,252,449. Requested revenue to be considered $160,000. Estimated expenses $150,000. Ending cash $40,252.49. Fund 6037, for sale property, beginning cash balance $554,758.57. Requested revenue $10,000 to be considered. And estimated expenses $10,000, ending cash balance $554,758.57. Fund 6039, alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs, beginning cash 66 cents. No revenue or expenses to be considered, ending cash 66 cents. Fund number 6040, injury prevention, beginning cash $53,066.05. No revenue or expenses to be considered, ending cash remains the same at $53,066.05. Fund number 6041, workforce development, beginning cash $348,543.34. Requested revenue to be considered $100,000. Estimated expenses $100,000. Estimated ending cash $348,543.34. Fund 6042, population health, beginning cash $119,033.90. Requested revenue to be considered $40,000. Estimated expenses $40,000. Ending cash $119,033.90. Fund 6043, operations maintenance, beginning cash $476,103.76. Requested revenue to be considered $300,000. Estimated expense $286,106.90. Estimated ending cash $489,996.86.
I think I was out. It's 24 fund.
You were, you missed again.
We've now, you've been here a year,
Not quite. So 9 months.
you didn't have the initial budget then.
Well, I'm sorry, what was the initial budget? Oh, it would have been this time last year.
Yeah,
What, June last year,
Catch it.
which is an outstanding issue that we have.
just when we started to give this far more attention than it deserved. It continues to deserve that attention because of the extraordinary amount of cash that is being held that is serving absolutely no purpose. I would like to know what would the consequence be for we to remove funds from covered cash balances from various levies, not all, not consistent, but to pick and choose. Thought on that, Katie?
Yes. Well, I do have something kind of outlined from the last 9 months, but to, to kind of give a comprehensive overview of what I found and where we're at today. But to answer your question, we still have a significant amount of invoices outstanding to Lake County. That's why the cash balances are so high. Upwards of, I would say closer to $800,000 out of each one of those program funds. There's a substantial amount that's still owed to Lake County.
But those bills are not yet allocated as to the various funds.
Correct. So what, the cash is there. What happened was last year, for the last 6 months of 2025, money was never appropriated. The cash was there. It was never appropriated for that to be spent on those invoices. After meeting with the budget commission multiple times, it wouldn't pass the then and now test to go back and do that right now because the money was never appropriated while it was sitting in those funds. It's never appropriated, so I can't open an encumbrance for those to get those to paid to date.
So the budget doesn't show that those obligations exist?
Right, it just shows a large lump of cash, basically. Which, meeting with Brian tomorrow to kind of figure out a solution to that, because after we had met last time, it was, you know, you can't go back and do then and now encumbrance for any of those program funds. We can't transfer that money out and put it into the general fund, which would satisfy the then part of the then and now test. So trying to figure out a legal solution. There's no, at this point, it doesn't look like there's a financial way of what we have established or what we're legally allowed to do in that regard. So I gotta figure out that out with Brian tomorrow. How to get those remaining, whatever, about $800,000 in invoices paid to Lake County.
I mean, Lake County, I guess Lake County could initiate legal action. Yeah, and then we could settle it.
Under the
That's
cross,
the only way we could do it.
under the cross jurisdictional agreement, you would know this probably better anyway. Is there some kind of a section there that handles non-payment or something like this?
I don't know if you.
Is there recourse?
Look at it.
No, I don't believe
So-
so. It's very vague. My understanding is a
When do these
Living-
obligations go back to?
July 2025.
What's the total time period of the obligations that are outstanding?
July through December 2025.
So the second half of 25, we never appropriated funds to pay the
Correct.
Lake County.
While it was figured out and established that this was the route that we were gonna go back, this time last year. Nothing was ever then initiated to establish that going forward, if that makes sense. Those monies were never appropriated is my point.
So Lake County's been out $800K for
6 months.
Yeah.
6 months and they.
Well, that for the,
Well, what,
Threatening.
how do they pay, how does it pay, how do the payments work? Is it monthly? Is it
It's
quarterly?
monthly.
Okay, I thought,
so I think it was established prior to, I think that was the big issue. What Geauga Public Health initially wanted to do was pay Lake County in a lump sum out of the general fund. And then transfer money from the specialized funds to, supplement the general fund. Well, then my understanding is that's where, I don't know if it was the auditor or maybe Budget Commission total said that, I think it was the auditor actually that said, you can't do that. Those invoices have to be paid directly out of each one of those specialized program funds. Okay, no problem. So now we do get billed monthly and then one invoice, but it's broken down on the invoice per fund. So basically what I'm doing is just creating about a dozen invoices per month to pay those to Lake County out of so that's what I've been doing since January twenty
So they
twenty-six.
six obligations.
Yes,
that's the right way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, so going
and that's the
forward,
only way.
you're good.
Oh, yes, beginning January, those have been established. We've been paying Lake County that way. It has not been an issue. The problem is oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's the historical issues that is kind of screwing all these numbers up right now. In my opinion. Well, it's not in my opinion, it's an actual fact, because, I mean, that's also affecting, it's not just affecting our operations. It's affecting how we're, like we have the financial statements are due in February to the state auditor. So a lot of my time and effort has been spent trying to kind of figure out the funds that have been either misappropriated. It's both revenues and expenditures. They've been paid out of inconsistent line items. They've been deposited into inconsistent
that's-
line items. Yes,
Your purpose
it is.
into cleaning house.
Yep.
Setting it up, so going forward,
Correct.
and you are doing that.
Yes.
So we have to clean house for the second half of last year.
Correct.
What entity would make the appropriation so you can pay these bills?
Geauga Public Health should appropriate that.
So how would they make an appropriation?
They can't now, because the money wasn't appropriated when they incurred the liability. That's the problem. So Lake County's gonna have to file legal action against us, and then we're gonna have to.
Have you heard from Lake County? I mean, $800,000 seems like a lot of money to me. Are they asking for it?
In fact, at one point, they didn't realize that it was still outstanding.
Boy, that must be a nice problem to have.
They have a lot of money. So they could file suit.
They'd have to, I think, at this point. I don't know any other way to do it.
I think that would be a reasonable assumption, though. Unless they want to eat it. They're not gonna want to do that.
Sounds like their accounting is not great over there.
Well, they don't have Katie. You're our weapon.
Right, but the concern is that unfortunately, you've got, to some extent, the same people on both sides. That's my concern. Right?
I mean,
Well, you have the Lake County people, but then you also have all the Lake County staff working in Geauga. And I mean this in the nicest way possible, and it's nothing against you. I don't understand why there are board members here discussing potential $800,000 liability on their annual budget.
up until I came on board, I don't know how the interaction was, how that was updated. We have a Board of Health meeting every single month.
Oh, I met the previous people from Lake County. I sat right there and they sat here before you. And it was an unmitigated disaster before they even started. And then it turned into a disaster in 2025. Chuck and Pam and I all sat here and said, this is not going to go well. It didn't go well. And again, that was Lake County staffing people employed by Lake County doing Geauga's issues. And I understand where that led to you. I guess I don't understand why the board isn't present. Are they aware that they have an $800,000 liability?
Well, I also don't think that, no. I also don't think that it's very clear, and I could be mistaken, that they don't, I don't know that all the board members realize that those are all Lake County employees. I don't think to be perfectly honest, and I don't know how to, I don't wanna presume that, but I think that since this cross-jurisdictional agreement has caused quite a bit of confusion. Since 2023, there have been at least 5 people doing the finances for.
Yeah, we've met most of them.
5 people in less than 2 years. That's not including Adam. So if you want to include him, that's 6. So you can imagine that it's all inconsistent. So trying to establish that, which I am, and that's, been very time consuming. Meanwhile, our 23-24 state audit is still outstanding. So every couple of weeks getting new requests for that, but all of the information there is also not readily available. So it's going into boxes in the basement, trying to figure that out. And I'm just trying to lay this out, like that's where a significant amount of my time is being spent. So
Who actually prepared this budget?
this budget, I did primarily myself from what we sat down and worked on together in November of 2026. So here now.
Wait, but there's, okay. And then the Board of Health approved this budget.
They have seen this budget, yes, and they did approve it in February.
Knowing that they have an $800,000 liability in Lake County.
Yes. The update has been that we've been working on it with Budget Commission staff and,
Oh, I know,
meetings with-
Chuck met with the legal counsel and gave them options, but.
I mean, they said that the merger would save us money. Apparently it's $800,000.
honestly,
No, I wouldn't be collecting their bills.
Did we not know?
Home run.
and the frustrating thing is that, I've been in Geauga County doing Geauga County Finance for 15 years. And then the last budget I was responsible for was 3 to 4 times this with the levy, specialized funds, never had really any issues with it. So this significantly smaller budget that has gotten so, you know, twisted is, it's pretty frustrating, to be honest. So I've been working through that, but it's just, so I understand that, you know, this budget that was submitted might not make a whole lot of sense, understanding that I don't know, I can't project what the end of the year looks like with this amount of money outstanding. Are we gonna end up paying that? Are they gonna have to sue? I don't know what that looks like. I am meeting with Brian tomorrow, so to maybe see what options are. I don't know what that looks like.
But it also sounds like we have different numbers than the original budget that was submitted here.
Well, now you're going back to 2026 budget. That's correct. So the 2026 budget that the Budget Commission approved last June 30th. My understanding is that the cycle should be February, we'll say, you know, February of the year, it goes to Board of Health for the following year. Then HDAC reviews it in March. It comes to Budget Commission in June, and then it gets cleaned up in October, November sometime, and then it should come to Budget Commission in November sometime to get updated, and then that's what would be used and entered into New World. By mistake, I did not enter, so we did the June 30th budget hearing that I was not here for. You guys approved the budget. Then we revisited it in November. Board of Health made those adjustments. And then that's when I ended up entering into New World.
I'm sorry, are you on a calendar year budget or are we on some goofy?
That's calendar year.
Okay, so do they do a tax, do you do a tax budget? Who's responsible for your tax budget? The county?
I know, I mean, this is the cycle that I'm piecing together, is that what I just laid out was,
But I don't understand because November is not any kind of a budget deadline.
it isn't. But basically, my understanding is that in previous years, Geauga Public Health would do that to get a more accurate number, similar to, if you're talking about like tax
Sure,
budget.
you're
Well, public budget, like, we're supposed to, you know, let the public examine the budget, and
Yes.
post it and
Yeah.
have a hearing and adopt, you know, a tax budget so that the public knows what we're spending our money on. I mean, I'm
Well, so that-
criticizing you.
No,
That's just how we all do things. Like,
my understanding and what, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is what I've been told, that Board of Health or health budgets are a little different and don't require,
I know they have a special statute, but
No, I think it just doesn't require notice.
or
public
notice, public
Yeah.
notice.
Which we have told, well, I don't want to say your predecessor, but we've told Adam Leakey in the past, just because it's not required doesn't mean you shouldn't publish it. So again, I'll stand by with Chuck. You should publish the budget in advance for the public to see it.
so when is, I guess, when is their budget deadline? Do they have a different set of deadlines? Do we still?
It's just here. I mean, this is the only thing. So it goes to our board.
But is there a deadline to get it to the,
Budget commission?
well, no, is there
Board
a
of Health.
deadline to get it approved by the Board of Health, or is it just here?
I don't know if there's an established deadline. What has been used has been February or March of the year. So like February,
Like a school district?
But it's not in that.
because I think the understanding is that it has to be reviewed, or at least HDAC has to review it. Like they don't do an approval or anything. I think it has to be presented to HDAC, which it was in March. And if they have any questions on it, but to my understanding, I don't know what that approval is required, which I.
So you presented the 27 budget to the HDAC in March,
Yes,
of this
after the
year.
Board of Health, after the Board of Health reviewed it,
and the
And-
Board of Health approved it,
yes.
even though it didn't have the $800,000 liability. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I mean, it was included in, well,
But there's even a future legal liability line item. I don't know. I mean, it's $800,000. It's out there. That's not in the budget. I mean, that's to the
There-
point of the treasurer saying, well, we should get money back. So much, but then we find out, well, maybe there isn't, or maybe there is. Maybe Lake County will never know that they were out of 800,000.
yeah, I don't think it's definitely not that much outstanding that should be carried over. And that's why it's kind of hard to determine what's gonna happen with these outstanding in the last last 6 months will play a big part in,
Jim, even if the Geauga County Health District Board approves or appropriates the $800,000 that is owed to Lake County, what would the procedure be for Katie to authorize payment?
Yeah,
A court order.
yeah, court order.
Yeah. Yeah, that,
Can't do it then and now. Can't, you gotta do a court order.
So here's the conundrum.
Mhm.
We have the budget going forward. It's clean. We know where it's going.
in that iron out, yes.
Well, you've worked very hard to make that happen. So we want to approve this, but at the same time, we need to address this considerable liability that is hanging over your head. It needs to be determined.
I mean, do we need to approve this today? Are we under some deadline?
no, right?
No, I mean, it would need to be approved before end of year to be used for 2027, but I don't know,
Well, Chrissy.
This is
you got the-
Chrissy. I'm sorry. And we went through a lot of this last year, and I know Katie was not on board with the health district last year, so she does not have the benefit of these conversations that happened last year. And I'm trying to go through some of my stuff here as you guys are talking through this. There is this process that happens early with the health district because of and it's unique to every other entity you guys deal with. Because there's this process with an appropriation measure that is supposed to happen from the health district, and it's because they are the way the statutes are set up. Technically, the townships and all of the subdivisions that benefit from the health district are part of their budget relies on what happens with the health district. And so that's why you guys have this process in place ahead of time. And that's what the timing looks like. My recollection, though, is that ultimately the levying authority for the tax is the Board of County Commissioners. So I do think that ultimately the levy that's involved here is rolled into the commissioner's budget, but I don't have all of that information right in front of me. But I do know it is very unique compared to the process for every other entity that we deal with.
And that's why we have the letter from the city of Chardon indicating.
Yes,
Okay.
that is tied to the statute. So
Adrian, I see you're logged on, but I don't know if you're there.
I'm here.
Do you
do
guys
not
include
budget-
health? In
No,
the
we do
tax,
not
in your
budget
tax
any
budget?
of the, we don't budget any of the health department funds in our budget.
Okay,
They're totally
Thank-
separate.
thanks. That's
Yep.
very helpful. I just wonder if we have to do this today.
Does
'Cause
the-
I feel like we should have a board member here or two to explain.
You've got a 5-member board. It's your job to get 2 board members here.
And
Yeah.
somebody from Lake County. Like, we gotta sort this out.
The health commissioner.
Adam?
Guys.
Yeah.
Listen, we need that historical bridge that you don't have because you weren't here. And unfortunately, it's Lake County people who are both a vendor for Geauga Public Health, but also ran Geauga Public Health on both sides of it for the last couple of years. So he's,
Yeah. I mean,
what do I know?
I still have some, like the for sale of property, got over $500,000 in there and the program is over, right?
that is correct.
So.
Well, I mean, they're still collecting, but very, very nominal, which is why I believe the expenditures were
Yeah.
like 10,000 or so.
So we got, we got to figure that, like, I'd like to hear a plan for that.
Well, it should go, a lot of that is outstanding on some of the outstanding invoices that are due from last year. And then those funds should be, my understanding, should go into the O and M fund, which was established last August. To be moved over there.
I mean, the O and M fund's pretty healthy too,
It is, that's a,
but I just, if we have a defunct program, it shouldn't have $554,000 in cash sitting.
And it sounds like it won't after we figure out the liability, but there will be a huge chunk left over, which we then need to determine
Which
what's the need.
hopefully we can transfer to O and M.
transfer to O and M, but that mechanism I'm not familiar with, so I haven't had to deal with establishing a new fund and moving fund from one to the other and that, for that reason.
So Katie, it's my understanding you have about $800,000 in bills.
Correct.
That will be allocated among these various funds.
Yes,
Can you provide the budget commission with a breakdown of those
yes.
by next month?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
Mhm.
But I do
We
think,
have it pretty much, but, and I understand that there might be a spreadsheet.
It was sent to you.
Okay, that's it, okay. That might be able to.
Yeah, that would be for us to see, because then we can see how much money these funds will really have in them,
yeah,
assuming that
Oh, yeah.
liability.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Well, I move
Absolutely.
we table this for
second.
a future meeting, second, or yes.
Aye.
Katie, this does not reflect on you at all.
On the record, though,
I understand.
2 board members
2 board members.
and somebody from Lake County that provides continuity of what happened in the past. So preferably the health commissioner or whatever.
Yeah.
His title is.
So basically, I mean, I know we're gonna redo this again. I mean, do you want to keep the figures as they are? Do you want, I mean, I'm also gonna have a different, once I meet with legal to see if there's another course of action that could be taken.
That's good. You
I mean,
don't
just
need to
an
amend
update.
this.
Okay,
Well, I mean, I think, well, okay, but using his example of the 500,000, where's that going? I mean, that's a potential obligation.
Well,
right,
I
and
think
I'll
it'd be
provide,
nice to see the spreadsheet, maybe
Yes.
out of, maybe the for sale property, we owe Lake County 200
Yes.
grand.
Yeah, so I guess not the budget. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
but just that update of what's outstanding.
Yeah.
2 board members and somebody from Lake County.
I'm sorry. Here. Oops, sorry.
Oh, let me
Thank you.
revisit.
Yes,
The pay-in problem that we've
Oh,
been
yes.
having,
yes.
has that now been
That's another,
resolved?
that's, I'm gonna email Caroline. Yes, it is resolved.
Okay.
Yes,
'Cause
it was
we're-
addressed internally.
We, Geauga County, will be cited. Because Lake County is not making a legal pay.
So is that on the treasurer's office, do you know, or will that reflect on Geauga Public Agency?
It will reflect on the treasury.
Okay,
We are responsible. like,
Okay.
paying.
Got it.
I don't want that to happen.
I don't want that to happen like that.
Good.
So, yes, that's been addressed internally.
We're on the same page.
Yes, we. Right,
Gee, that was fun.
anything? Yeah.
I mean, there's other business items with Geauga Public Health, so.
There is, yes.
Interesting.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure, why not?
And the next agenda item is the 2025, 2026 school amendments, the Chardon Amendment number 7.
Amendment number 7, special revenue fund increase. Fund 572, Title 1, other source revenue by $7,179.30. And an increase to Fund 599, Title IB-A, other source revenue. $5,500, net adjustment $12,679.30. New special revenue funds total $6,688,478.05. New 2025-26 certificate $80,162,786.95. Appropriations do not exceed.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Right.
Next item of business is this was a table item from last meeting on May 18th for the Chardon Township. There was a modification to the terms of how we notated the amendment to delineate between a error on
Yeah.
their side and an error on our side. So we have changed this to an amended / modified amendment number 1 of amendment number 1.
And are we communicating with Chardon Township now? I know it was a bit of a difficulty with the fiscal officer and giving responsive communication.
We have not heard recently from the fiscal.
So. Okay. All right, I will make a motion to approve amendment number 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And there's a few of them.
Oh, they're also.
Yeah, they're all in the same one. We'll bring it back around. Second item in here is also was tabled from the May 18th meeting, was the modified amendment number 2. Additionally, in another adjustment that was recommended that appropriations do not exceed.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
And then also in there is their tabled from May 18th of 26 was their amendment number 3. Special revenue increase in the cemetery fund, other source revenue by $6,000 and an increase to park and recreation fund by $6,000, net adjustment $12,000, new special revenue funds total $3,408,309.53, new 2026 certificate total $4,893,111.99. Appropriations do not exceed.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Next is Newbury Township Amendment number 4. They have increases in their special revenue fund, road and bridge by $1,000 and an increase to their cemetery fund due to an insurance claim check received for $5,370. Net adjustment $6,370. New special revenue funds total $4,170,572.09. New 2026 certificate totals $7,343,209.44. Appropriations do not exceed.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
That's a lot of money, by the way.
Next item is Geauga County Amendment number 6. Increase in the sewer fund of $54,918.27. It increases the capital projects fund total to become $32,359,507.79. New 2026 certificate total $243,006,962.46.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
So moved.
That was my motion.
Who's?
It's his.
So moved.
I'll second. Aye, aye, aye.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. Other business?
Other business, Russell 1545 Park District, they submitted their permanent appropriations for the year, general fund $9,016. There's nothing to sign, we'll sign those, but just to let you review and such.
You require a motion to accept their proposal.
I don't know that we don't typically do that for appropriations, but because it was the permanence, I didn't know I had that change.
So moved.
Second.
We'll just make sure. CYA.
Aye.
Aye.
Next item, Geauga Park District. We received a correspondence this morning from their fiscal and
With a lot of time to review, apparently.
well, they don't have the permanent, they don't have the approval for the permanent appropriations measures. But they did send us over draft minutes and wanted to know if that would suffice. And then they we're also inquiring if there was a deadline as to when new transactions are due for upcoming meetings.
Draft minutes aren't official. They're not approved by the board. I don't know how that would. I don't know how that would provide us anything. They're not officially
They're not approved
approved
yet.
yet, so they could be any.
They can submit it to us for the record, but they're not approved by the board.
Okay, so the board could disagree with whatever went on and say we're not approving that, in which case then.
Yep.
We
I
can-
appreciate the communication.
And then they had also inquired as far as if there is a deadline for submissions to before a budget commission.
I do not have the answer to that question.
I don't understand.
Next items,
Katie, while you waited,
yeah,
So at the moment, then,
yes,
they don't have any permanent appropriations.
they do not have any approved budget either.
they're spending money. They're paying people.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe it's in the draft minutes.
So this was a item that was from last week, and I think we were communicating with, the New World revenue does not match the approved, so you're waiting to see if there was gonna be any decertifications or certifications for some funds.
I mean, there will have to be.
Okay.
Fortunately, as I kind of was talking about earlier, there's quite a bit of, let's say, a lack of historical documentation for a lot of things. So while I have the approved June 30th budget from the Budget Commission, it's almost a snapshot, you know, it has the breakdown of the revenues and the expenses, where those tie out to. I don't know where that exists. Meaning,
What does that mean, lack of historical documentation?
so when asking, okay, I want to reconcile this from what I entered, I know what I have, what I entered, what I know what the expenses should be and what the revenues should be. What was approved, it just has, kind of has that synopsis. So obviously there's a further breakdown of what those revenues and expenses.
What's happened? So where are the breakdown numbers?
I don't know.
And where,
I've requested, I'm looking for, I've looked for that, I should say. The response is it's just not available.
it's a record of a government agency that was,
I mean, like I said, this has been the issue going, you know, that I've had. So while tedious, it's been something that I've just been overboard trying to document and scan and keep copies of the records and keeping a process in place going forward. As far as the historical for finding out what those revenues specifically were, so looking at fines, like let's look at the line item for fines. I don't know what that was entered as. I know what I entered it into New World as. So, you know, that's gonna be my next, you know, project is trying to reconstruct what makes sense. Historically, what has maybe been entered into New World, and making that make sense and add up to what was presented to the Budget Commission and ultimately approved.
right, but you shouldn't have to like create those. It should just be, let's get the files and then
Yes. Should,
if they're in a basement somewhere in Lake County.
they could be in the basement at Geauga. I mean, it's,
It's,
like I said, that's
Ridiculous.
been a lot of the time and effort has been spent doing a lot of the research and going back and trying to find out where this originated from, where it should be, why isn't it scanned, what, you know,
right, the chief gauge has always been in New World, so isn't there a, is it populated?
it is inconsistent. If you look at the history of what those revenue line items, they've changed over years. I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to make sense of. What it was, what it is now and what it should be. Is that something that's going to fluctuate, you know, that revenue line item? Is that something that's going to fluctuate going forward? I don't have a grasp on that, and I don't have a historical understanding or reference to look at to kind of understand it, so kind of,
Cause it's not historically in New World though, to look at it.
it would be, that's what I'm saying, like, but there, it's inconsistent across the board, so let's look at those fines over the last 5 years. It could change, vary year to year. Why that varies year to year, that I don't understand.
Oh, I see.
So this is yet another wonderful example of why you should have joined us 5 years ago for this. Because going forward, it's all good.
It is all good,
Going back, you need a forensic accountant.
yes. So working on that while maintaining current operations
Yeah.
and then projecting the future is, that's very
It's
challenging. It's not,
cause at long last a gray hair.
no, no.
So,
Hair dye.
so I don't think Caroline is on, but she's gonna shoot me. She is very good at this stuff. The puzzle.
It is.
She will begrudgingly offer her help.
Okay, of
Do not abuse it.
course not.
Okay.
Okay. You still have a projected revenue for 2027.
That's correct.
So what has the board established as the projected revenue for 2027?
Well, those are based on, fee schedules, collections, inspection fees, that sort of thing. But I should back up. Part of the issue also is that revenues were not classified appropriately, which,
Why wouldn't that be a problem too?
so you have fees, you have inspection fees, you have permits, you have licenses. These are all separate things that have to be straightened out to where it should be appropriately assigned. Historically, it's kind of all over the board, trying to figure. And depending on who the person was also, again, enter, the multiple people that have been responsible for entering the stuff into New World. Somebody sees fees, they don't know that, well, I mean, I can see that should be an inspection fee. I could, enter it that way. So if they see the word fee, it could go into multiple line items.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't know if there's a way to, so we're trying to streamline that into the appropriate line item and documenting it for future reference if I'm not here for some reason. But someone can just pick up and see,
Where you going?
yeah,
You're not going anywhere.
anything.
You get Saturday and Sunday off. Don't worry.
That's true.
So basically you're saying the data that was input to some extent was at the whim of the particular individual's interpretation.
Yes. Which uncovered, and even in the program that we use, HDIS currently, which we're going away from, it's an antiquated system, we're moving to health space, but so some of the codes that were in HDIS might say, they use the numbers from New World, but then the name doesn't align like it does in New World. Again, I'm talking the inspection fees is 420, actually 424, I think is inspection fees in New World. 420 is fees. So that didn't align, and in New World to HDIS to what? So that's what I'm saying. The multiple systems too, across from what we've been using, and what was entered has been inconsistent. So again, ironing that out, getting that straightened out, figuring out what that's. I'm working on that. But I feel like that would be a better idea at the end of 2026. So maybe not totally, but that's my goal, is to get that straightened out, because that's been the confusing part. Totally. And then understanding each program as it is as well, that I'm unfamiliar with, getting more familiar with now. So. Sorry, I know that was a lot. A very, a lot of confusion.
Sorry you have to go through this, but you do have to go through this.
I do. You're right.
It's the taxpayers' money. It's
It
a
is.
heck of a lot of money. Okay,
Mhm. So yes, to answer your question, that is something that's outstanding, working through that, because that is a priority to get that straightened out. So it reflects properly in New World. That's what was approved by the Budget Commission. Or decertifying and making changes. Now, I guess one quick question on that. So one of the things that stood out to me that was approved by Budget Commission, because it was the old way of, we were doing the invoicing with the cross jurisdictional agreement.
Mhm.
There was a substantial amount of money that was put into the transfers in line item. Well, since then, we've changed the way that we're doing that. There should be $0 of transfers in. If I wanted to make that adjustment, can I do that? Or in this correction process? So Budget Commission approved $1.3 million of transfers into budget, into the general fund. I don't anticipate that. That has changed since then. We're not doing any transfers in. Would I decertify that 1.3 million in the transfers in then? And then certify more revenue into each of the program funds? Does that make sense?
You're just looking to move line items from where they make
Yes.
adjustments saying we want to clean out the,
Yeah.
reduce transfers in, transfer to.
Right.
I'll use an example.
Part of it.
Transfer to food service.
Yes.
So that would be done as part of the sort of revenue certification.
Okay. Okay. And that would be part of the correction. I don't know the full extent, but that just stood out to me as one that was definitely a change since last year.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so moving on. We have a letter from the city of Chardon. Is that all that line item is?
Yes, we did get that. So that was part of that. Then if you want to give a quick update as to where we are with the fire district mapping project.
Yeah, we got the app. And so I'm working on, well, I have now a form finalized, so probably today or tomorrow I'll be soliciting information, starting to send out to solicit the information from the fire district.
Do it very gently.
Yes, I'm working with Pam and working,
Gentle.
yes,
Very exciting.
yeah.
We have two other items that came in after the agenda was completed and.
What are you doing?
See, Chris is not here and I go rogue.
But she's not gone yet.
These are-
Or she hasn't left the state yet.
And she has not left the stage.
So
Yeah.
this is other.
This is other
business.
business. This is Russell Township submitted amendment number 2.
Oh, now that you open that ball of worm.
Wow, they have a lot of money.
I had the pleasure of attending the Russell Township budget hearing for the police and the Township General Fund. I was the only member of the public there. But they had a very formal hearing, and it was being recorded. It was a very interesting hour, which I will never get back. So it will be very interesting going forward, working with Russell Township and observing how they intend to address public monies they enjoy.
Do you enjoy it? A lot of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm not prepared to review or do anything with anything. I mean, this is significant amount of money. I haven't reviewed it. I'll make a motion to table this.
Second,
It's just astronomical.
All right. Other item that came,
other,
other.
Still under other.
extra other.
There was a letter that was received from being written to Geauga Board of County Commissioners.
County commissioners for whom? Oh, for this, the draft.
I've seen it. I'm good with it. I'm obviously not going to sign off on it. And I don't think we should do anything without Mr. Flays being present.
Yeah. My budget hearing last week, my treasurer's budget hearing, took at least 7 minutes. And then we spent the next 30 minutes talking about the budget commission concerns that they had.
Well, that's what your budget hearing is about, right?
Yeah, it was, perhaps the worst budget hearing in my several decades here. So I look forward to having a conversation with my fellow members of the Budget Commission in the near term future. Okay. Do you have other?
No additional items.
Any general discussion? I don't have. Any general, no,
Anybody from the public?
public comment,
Sarah?
public comment,
Hi, good morning.
Sarah?
I know that those last couple of things you talked about with Russell number 2, I know you tabled it, but could you say just a little bit more about what that was so I can characterize it? Like.
I'm not even totally sure, to be honest. It obviously came in at the last minute. It's something we'll need to review, and it is a lot of money. So you can quote that. They have a lot of money.
Okay. I probably will just directly quote that then. And
You're
then,
welcome.
and then the other item, the letter, was that a letter you received from the
No,
commissioners
that's
or
a
a letter to the
draft letter.
commissioners?
It's a draft letter for the Budget Commission to review in terms of sending to the county commissioners.
Okay, and are you able to say what the topic of the letter is, or is that?
The
Something we can
topic
wait-
of the letter is involving the commissioners' budget hearing for later this year.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's a draft form, so it's technically not a public record yet, but that's the gist
Yeah.
of it.
No, I'm sure that once you approve it.
You'll get it immediately.
Yep, sounds good. At the last meeting, there was a couple of reserves that were tabled for months, and I'm assuming there's no news about that yet. I think you were gonna wait for them to do a reserve study.
No additional information.
Have we heard from them on that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, it just seemed like the reserve funds did not have supporting documentation, nothing back in yet, so we're waiting.
Yeah, okay.
It's their schedule.
So I'll just request the records from today, the certificates and everything. I don't know if you're willing to give me the GPH stuff since it got tabled. If you are, it would be helpful because that was a lot of numbers, but I understand either way.
The
So,
GPH stuff would be public records as it was submitted to the Budget Commission, so if you want that, absolutely.
yes. And then
Yep.
once you figure out when you're gonna have a time for the board members and the person from Lake, I imagine you'll sunshine that and we'll know once it's scheduled. So,
Well, they
I'll
should
look
not
forward
need to
to-
sunshine it. We're only asking for 2 of the 5 members so that they don't have to
oh,
worry
okay,
about that.
that's right, that's right.
But we will notice a meeting, a continuance of the
Yeah.
budget hearing and have the discussion at that time. So you can just
Okay.
wait on this schedule.
Okay, I'll wait by my email.
And sir, you can come to that one.
I might be able to. I'm going on vacation on Saturday, so I'm squeezing this in between all the works that I have to get done. So I had hoped to come to Chardon today, but I've just got too much this week to even allow
Okay.
travel time. So, but
See you
all
when
right,
you get
thanks,
back.
everyone.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Move to adjourn.
We're adjourned at 10:59.
Thank you.